Welcome to Fowler Field for the 146th annual Erie Bell game between the Port Jervis Red Raiders and their host, the Middletown Midi Bears. I'll be handing it off to Jeff, to public address, Jeff Shuko, to kick off the festivities for today.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Middletown High School and Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School for the 146th playing of the Erie Bell game. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you to the 2024 Middletown Midi Bears.
All right, you guys are good down there? Go with Ed. Go with Ed. We're going with that video. Yeah, I don't know why he's leaving you alone. We're going with the video.
Joe Mann, defensive back receiver.
James Mays, wide receiver, cornerback.
Chase Blackwood, linebacker.
Joseph Royal, quarterback, safety.
Josh Simon, linebacker, running back.
Aiden Barbosa, receiver, safety.
Christian Ethier, running back, linebacker.
Javion Rodan, running back, corner.
Jaden Faison, DN, running back.
Kayvon Scott, wide receiver, safety.
Ryan Guevara, wide receiver, safety.
Julian Garcia, wide receiver and corner.
Keyshawn Smith, DB, running back.
Anthony Russo, quarterback, safety.
Amir Lewis, receiver, linebacker.
Jelani Graham, running back, inside linebacker.
Giovanni Pierre, running back, linebacker.
Rashad Huntington, middle linebacker, fullback.
Israel Leifa, wide receiver and cornerback.
Andrew Smith, DB.
Hector LeBron, linebacker.
Isaiah Sepulveda, running back and linebacker.
Kayvon Harrison, receiver, DB.
Rudy Cherry, running back, outside linebacker.
Prince Okogo, defensive back.
Jaden Sasha, wide receiver, safety.
Marquise Burgos, running back, inside linebacker.
Eric Merlo, D-line.
Isaiah Judge, O-line, D-line.
Tristan Williams, tackle.
Jameson Paz, O-line, D-line.
Matthias McQueen, guardian.
Brian Hagan, O-line, D-line.
Gozi Belichukwu, D-line.
Seth Monterey, defensive line.
Nathaniel Hannon, offensive lineman.
Noah Rodriguez, O-line, D-line.
Christian Torres, O-line, D-line.
Joseph Arzio, O-line, D-line, punter.
Damian Douglas, O-line, D-line.
Liam Chester, DN.
Isaiah Torres, O-line, D-line.
David Swenson, kicker.
Jason Lichtenstein, line coach.
Chris Conklin, defensive coordinator.
Phil Carcialetti, quarterback coach.
Mike Conklin, tight ends, inside linebacker coach.
Bobby Mangano, offensive coordinator.
Tim Strenfeld, head coach. Let's go Middletown.
Go over to George, center up.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I direct your attention to the center of Fowler Field, where coaches Tim Strenfeld and Damian Straharski, along with Middletown Athletic Director David Coates and Port Jervis Athletic Director J.J. Gass, will present the Stephen Fowler Memorial Award. This award is presented annually to 2 players, one from each school, who participates in the Erie Bell game. The criteria for this award are those qualities that Steve Fowler so epitomized: academic achievement, desire, dedication, a strong work ethic, sportsmanship, and leadership. The recipients of the 34th Annual Stephen Fowler Memorial Award are, from Port Jervis High School, number 9, Owen Carreri. And from Middletown High School, number 0, Joseph Mann. From Port Jervis High School, number 21, Owen Carreri. And from Middletown High School, number 0, Joseph Mann.
Yeah, as they're going to come, well, they're coming out of it. So, yeah, you're going to go in on the marching band. All right, camera full, we're off.
How about one more nice round of applause for our Fowler Award winners?
You know what? Come over to the end of the football field. Over down by the end of the Middletown football players. Down the right-hand side. You're in front of you. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All the way down so you're looking at it.
We ask that you please keep your focus to the 50-yard line as we honor our 2024 Scholar Athletes from Middletown and Port Jervis. For their exceptional academic performance and athletic success, we honor one Middletown athlete and one Port Jervis athlete for their achievements in the classroom and community. The 146th Erie Bell Rivalry Scholar Athletes are, from Port Jervis High School, Sean Mischuk, and from Middletown High School, Hector LeBron.
George, you got it? All right. Marching band is fine. You're good where you're at. Stay right there.
How about a nice round of applause for our 2024 Scholar Athlete recipients? Now at this time, we'd like to go down on the field where our Master of Ceremonies from this morning's Wall of Fame ceremony, Board of Education President Ed Estrada, who will introduce our Wall of Fame class for 2024.
Welcome, Midi Nation. Let's give, first of all, a great Midi welcome for our friends from the west side of the county. Welcome to Middletown and Fowler Field, Raider Nation. It's a very special afternoon here at Middletown High School. It began at about 10 a.m. where here in our gymnasium, we had our second induction of our Wall of Fame class of 2024. And I'd like to introduce to you the members of the Middletown High School Wall of Fame class 2024 as they were inducted this morning. We have the 1961 undefeated Middletown football team. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Boys tennis coach Anthony Gobio. Former Midi head football coach Steve Barone. Middletown High School track and field athlete Debbie Cubbin. And I got to introduce these two together, twin brothers in wrestling for the Midi Bears in the early 90s, Philip and Rocco Mansueto. And probably the best long-distance runner in the history of Middletown High School, Chris Egger. And just a standout in basketball, softball, and soccer, Sherry Morris. Representing our 1961 team, head coach George Klein and Jim Wright. And representing posthumously, head coach Anthony Gobio, his daughters Rose and Nancy. Let's give them a great round of applause. We're going to have our Wall of Fame inductees get escorted out to midfield for our coin toss. And joining us for the coin toss, the team captains for Middletown, Rudy Cherry, Jelani Graham, Josh Simon, and Joe Mann. And the team captains for the Red Raiders of Port Jervis, Carol Dolshin, Dylan Fox, Maddox McCormick, Nashawn Campbell, and Anthony Theodore.
Yeah, go over to the band. I got the view from up top. Now it's set. Switch back. Yeah, you're good. No, go to the right. I don't want the just want the and then camera 2, and when you on ROTC.
All right, here we go. All right, Middletown, you're the home team. You're in blue. Port Jervis, you got to travel. You're white. Heads, tails, heads, tails. I'm going to toss it. It's your call, all right? Heads is the call. It is heads. Your choice. You're going to take the ball. Okay, you'll have the second half option. Which goal do you want to defend? Place your backs over there, please. You guys over here. Okay, Port Jervis has won the toss. They've elected to receive. Captain, shake hands. Good luck.
At this time, we'd like you to please rise in respect for the presentation of our colors by our Middletown NY ROTC program. They will come out to midfield, but not present colors until the national anthem begins, as we have a little bit of a ceremony for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you may know or may not know, Middletown lost its legendary head football coach, Dick Woolslayer, a couple of months ago. Coach Woolslayer was a part of the fabric of this community since the 1960s. This will be the first Erie Bell game played with our beloved head coach. On the field, we have Coach Woolslayer's family to do a couple of proclamations. First, I'll read a presentation that we'll give to his wife, Donna, that says, "Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the enlarged City School District of Middletown hereby determines that the athletic field gate at the high school athletic fields shall be hereafter be named and known as Woolslayer Gate. It is signed by each members of the Board of Education." And on the video board, you see a sign that's been put out there that says the future site of the Dick Woolslayer Gate. There'll be a plaque to commemorate head coach, as well as hopefully some other designs there for the entrance to the facility. And Coach Woolslayer lived at the start of his life here in Middletown, just about 5 houses down from this facility. So he'll be remembered forever here at Middletown. At this time, we'd like you to remain standing. We're going to do a moment of silence that will be commemorated by the ringing of the Erie Bell 7 times, 1 for each decade of coaches' participation here at Middletown. Ringing the bell 7 times will be the last 3 head coaches after Coach, the most current, Steve Barone, who was inducted into our Wall of Fame, Middletown High School principal Billy Donahue, and current head coach Tim Strenfeld, followed by family members Kara Hartley, Chris Grogan, Ricky Woolslayer, and Kelly Woolslayer. Thank you. God bless Dick Woolslayer. And in a sign of generation to generation respect, all Midi football players will now place a flower at the Erie Bell, which will then be collected and given to Donna. Let's give a nice round of applause to our Midi Bears. So at this time, the Middletown NJROTC will complete the presentation of colors, followed by the playing of the national anthem by the Middletown Marching Middies. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for our pregame ceremonies. We want to give a shout out for the 40th anniversary of the class of 1984 here on the sideline. Thank you to Port Jervis for your patience, and let's play some football.
No, you stay on the field. You stay on the field. Let's get some, crowd shots and stuff, cheerleading and stuff like that. You're on your own now. Have fun. You're on your own now. Have fun.
Anthony Theodore.
Yeah, with the crowd, all that kind of stuff. No, you're not on that.
In the kickoff committees, number 80, David Suazo Castillo.
You're wide right now. I mean, you can get in tighter. That's fine, too. All right, you guys keep doing what you want. George, I'm going to stay on you for a while. Girls, I'll be right back.
Keep the stats on them.
So I want to thank Anthony Kovacs at Estrada from the field, running up this big staircase of a press box, bringing you live action on an 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV. 1st and 10 for Port Jervis. They hand off on the near side across the 30. That's number 5 for the Red Raiders, Anthony Theodore, and the Midi Bears doing a nice job on first down defensively.
It's a good way to start. Get those legs churning.
So 2nd down. This time the pitch on a pass off the handoff originally to Theodore, and then he tries to throw it downfield, trying to connect with number 1, Elijah Campbell. Falls incomplete. It's going to bring up 3rd and long, 3rd and about 6 for the Red Raiders from their own 34-yard line.
Some trickery already on the first drive. Look at that.
And Middletown fans will remember that they did that trick as part of the miracle here at Middletown 10 years ago when the Midi Bears came back from 19 down and defeated the Red Raiders.
Wow.
3rd down and 6. Quarterback and there's a flag on the play, and we'll see if Middletown with the hard snap count.
Dead ball. Offside. Middletown.
It's going to cost the Midi Bears 5 yards. Still won't be a first down, but it'll be a very manageable 3rd down play for the Red Raiders. The 146th edition, a beautiful day here at Fowler. Dylan Fox, the junior quarterback, in the shotgun for Port Jervis. 3rd and just 1. He's going to keep it going along the right sideline. He's going to have enough for the first down across the 40, the 45, and into Middletown territory, still on his feet before he's finally barreled out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. And a nice setup that time. Middletown kind of bit on the handoff to Theodore, and instead it's the quarterback keeper.
Got popped out of bounds right at the end of that play. Got to make sure you get out of bounds as a quarterback. Don't want to be taking those big hits.
So 1st and 10 now for Port Jervis as they continue to the drive after the 3rd down conversion. They're at the Middletown 42-yard line, just getting started. About 11 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Fox, handoff, up the middle, across the 40-yard line. And a nice job on the tackle there. Otherwise, it would have been a lot more. A late flag coming in. And that might be against Middletown. We'll see. Anthony Theodore with the carry for about 5 yards. We'll see if they're going to add to that or if they'll mark it off against the Red Raiders.
During the run, holding Port Jervis.
So instead it's a hold, a late flag on a hold towards the end of the play. It's going to be 10 yards from the spot of the foul. And so it's going to bring the ball back down to the 48-yard line. First down still. They'll need to get to the 32-yard line, so 1st and 16.
We're seeing some quick tempo here from Port Jervis, getting down the field, but penalty.
Pitch to Theodore on the near side, trying to get through that front line, and a nice job that time by Middletown's number 8. Jaden Faison, one of the team's leading tacklers. Coming in, the senior defensive lineman at 6'1", 210 on the stop. No gain on the play. 2nd and 16 for Port Jervis at the Middletown 48-yard line. Theodore in motion. Fakes the handoff from him across near the 40-yard line. Just bowling over a couple of Middletown players is number 30, Carol Dolshan, the team captain, one of the captains. And he almost comes away with a 16-yard gain. We're going to give him 15 yards on the play, all the way down to the 33-yard line.
That's a big runner.
Yep, it's going to be 3rd down. And another 1 yard to go for Port Jervis. They converted on their last 3rd and 1 to keep this drive going. Just so many options on the ground for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, they got big players in the backfield. Like, if you're a defense, how do you stop that?
Dylan Fox up the middle. He's got enough for a first down inside the 30 before the defensive line for Middletown finally brings him down at the 28-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for Port Jervis at the Middletown 28 as the drive continues with 9:27 remaining here in the first quarter.
Good first drive, exactly what you want at the beginning of the game. Get your offense to work, get them all connected. It's the right way to start a game.
It's a beautiful day here at Fowler, though it's a little warm on the field, so I'm sure they're trying to wear down this Middletown defense with this opening drive. Fox back to pass. Tried to look downfield. Is going to bring it back down and run the football up the middle, and does a nice job on first down yardage inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. Pickup of 5 on the play, so 2nd and 5 for Port Jervis. They keep getting a good chunk of change on first down. The Red Raiders see their best opportunity to take the Erie Bell back to Port Jervis. They come into this afternoon with a 2-0 record with wins over Goshen and Liberty. Dolshin, the big guy, on the near side. This time a nice job of tackling by Middletown. Led by number 4, Joshua Simon, one of the team captains for the Midi Bears. Picked up about a yard on the play to the 22. It's going to bring up 3rd and 4. The biggest third down deficit for the Red Raiders on this drive.
Port Jervis team definitely knows how to switch up who has the ball. They have so many different ball carriers that it opens up the field and just expands the running game.
Theodore, number 5, is to the left of the quarterback. Dylan Fox working from the shotgun for the Red Raiders. Fox tried that last play, but a nice job by Middletown, but a great catch on the far sideline by Dolshin is going to extend the Port Jervis drive. It looked like Middletown's face-on had Dylan Fox deep in the backfield, but he just threw it up. He kind of knew where Dolshin was going to be, and they connected.
Yeah, it's a good communication, good chemistry. That's what you need in the offense. That shows why they're 2-0.
Impressive drive by Port Jervis here to start this Erie Bell game. Dylan Fox on the near side. Good job of tackling by Middletown. Finally brought down by Jelani Graham, number 15, after the reception by Austin Mack. Looked like no gain on the play, so it's going to be 2nd and 10 for Port Jervis from the Middletown 13-yard line. The Raiders have converted on 3 third down opportunities on this opening drive. A big crowd here at Middletown. Fox off the shotgun. Looks like he wants to run the football. Cuts it back inside near the 10, and Jelani Graham just puts a nice stick on him, but he does pick up about 6 yards on the play. It's going to bring up another third down, the 4th third down for Port Jervis as the ball is marked. There is a flag on the play.
During the run, holding, Port Jervis. 10 from the previous spot, we play the down.
About the only thing that's hurt the Raiders so far on this drive have been 2 holding calls. They were able to withstand the first one, and this one a little bit more of a lethal blow because it's going to repeat 2nd down but bring the ball all the way back out to the 23. They need to get to the 3-yard line, so 2nd and 20 for Port Jervis from the Middletown 23. We'll see if Dylan Fox tries to air it downfield. Most of the passes have been safe. And a pitch, this time Elijah Campbell along the far sideline. Good pursuit by Middletown. About a 5-yard pickup to the 18. And that's where they'll mark the football at the 18-yard line. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 15 for Port Jervis on what so far has been a over 6-minute drive for Port Jervis.
It's that run game. They're chewing the clock. All these different formations, getting people in the backfield, motion.
This time rolling to his right, looking downfield. He's got a receiver on the near side. Before he goes out of bounds was number 5, Anthony Theodore, out of the backfield. But he was short of the first down. So what do you do if you're head coach Damian Straharski in your opening drive, you pretty much moved the ball well, but it's a long 4th and about 5. But it looks like he's just going to go for it here on 4th down instead of attempting the field goal, the short field goal from the right hash. Of course, in high school, you never know how good your kickers are in this day and age, so this could be a little bit telling. This time he's under center. Fox pitches it to Theodore, trying to cut inside and get the first down. He's going to be stopped at the 5-yard line, and unless there's a flag on the play, I don't see one. That Midi Bear defense has bent but did not break.
That's what happens when you're aggressive on the first drive. It's just a gamble. You don't know what your offense is feeling on the first drive. Trying to figure it out early in the game. Sometimes you got to just take the points there. That Middletown defense withholds that Port Jervis explosive running game.
So there is a player down for the Raiders. Try to see if we can get a number for you. He is moving everything and getting up, and that's you don't want to lose Anthony Theodore. They're one of their top running backs. Might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him, and you could tell that Middletown defense was playing enough to allow the play to materialize, but not enough to get to the first down marker.
Yeah, they were quick to the ball that drive, I'd say. Like, they had the motion, Port Jervis, but the defense of Middletown was just so quick to the ball that those explosive plays didn't really fully develop.
Ed Estrada, Anthony Kovacs, and Ed Diller bringing you all the action on 845 Sports Nation, along with Midi TV right here at Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School, the 146th edition of the Erie Bell matchup between Port Jervis and Middletown, one of the nation's longest-running football rivalries in terms of games played. 5:25 remaining here in the first quarter, and Middletown's just touching the football for the first time. They have it 1st and 10 from their own 5. And we'll take a look. We weren't sure who was going to be the starting quarterback for the Midi Bears. But under center is number 3 for the Midi Bears, JoJo Royal. To give up the middle to Jelani Graham, you're going to hear that name a lot. At least hopefully if you're a Midi Bear fan, you want to. He's going to pick up about a yard on the play. So 2nd and 9 from the 6 for Middletown. Middletown coming in at 0-2 with losses to Baldwinsville 14-7. And I know what was a disappointing loss to Warwick on the road last week for the Midi Bears. They've had a banged-up quarterback in JoJo Royal, who came out at halftime of that Baldwinsville game and didn't play last week. Graham, once again, doing a nice job of shedding the initial contact, and he gets out across the 10 to the 12-yard line. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 3 for Middletown.
Staying conservative on those first 2 plays, deep in your own territory. Not that good of starting field position for this Middletown offense in the first quarter.
And we'll see what head coach Tim Strentville draws up here on 3rd and 3 from deep in his own territory. Plenty of time left on the play clock, about 20 seconds. Jelani Graham in the backfield, JoJo Royal, the quarterback, number 3, under center. The long pitch along the far side at the 10, the 15, and Middletown's going to get a first down on the play. A nice job by Javian Roldan, the senior running back, number 7, at 5'7", 140, coming in and gaining enough for the first down. But there is a flag on the play, and we'll see if that comes back for holding, though it looks like the flag was near the sideline.
Yeah, it looked like it came after the hit.
During the run, we have a block in the back, Middletown. It's half the distance from the spot. We played it down.
So both teams coming up with some bad penalties that have stymied their drives. This one for Middletown takes away a first down and results in a 3rd and long. We're going to call it 3rd and about 8 from the 7-yard line. They need to get out to the 15.
Yeah, that penalty really keeps them deep in their own territory. Got to watch out where you're putting this ball. You don't want to turn over.
Royal back to pass under center, trying on the near side to hook up with Aiden Barbosa. Those two did hook up a bunch of times up in Baldwinsville in the first half before Royal went out, but they could not connect, and Middletown is going to have to give up some field position here to Port Jervis. Number 1, Elijah Campbell back to receive the punt. Stations himself in the Middletown side of the field at about the 45-yard line. And back to punt the football for the Midi Bears looks to be number 8, Jaden Faison. It's a good snap and a high short kick at about the 30-yard line takes a Port Jervis bounce inside the 30. And good field position for the Raiders with 3:33 remaining here in the first quarter. No score on the board between Port Jervis and Middletown.
Got to think for Port Jervis, were they that confident in their defense stopping them in Middletown's territory? Is that why they went for it on 4th down?
I think they wanted the touchdown, to tell you the truth. But like I mentioned, you never know about high school kickers. So if you don't have a lot of confidence in being able to kick a field goal, a short field goal, then that's pretty much what you have to do on 4th down. Dolshin in the backfield. Under center is Fox. Dolshin on the carry, up the middle. He's brought down right away by a couple of Midi Bears, led by number 4, Joshua Simon, on the tackle. For Dolshin, a pickup to the 27-yard line, a pickup of 4, so 2nd and 6 for Port Jervis from the Middletown 27-yard line. And this time Fox goes back in the shotgun. Dolshin again on the carry. Nice, tripped up after a couple of yard gains by, looked like Jelani Graham in on the stop. Third down, about 3 yards on the play. Fox on the near side to Theodore. He's got a good block on the inside. He's got a first down and more inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for Port Jervis on a nice hookup and a nice block on the outside by number 8, Austin Mack. Kind of sprung Theodore down the sideline.
Yeah, Theodore also made a really nice move there. Just being able to cut to the outside really lets him get into that open field.
1st and goal for Port Jervis from the Middletown 6. Their second opportunity inside the red zone. Dylan Fox is the quarterback from the shotgun. Dolshin's to his left. He's going to keep it right up the middle, but reading it was Jelani Graham, who made the contact at about the 5-yard line. And it's going to bring up 2nd and goal from the 5 for Port Jervis.
Already the second time we've seen them within the 15-yard line. So hopefully Middletown's defense can stop him.
And you know Middletown's going to load the box expecting a run. We'll see if they surprise him a little bit with a pass. On the far side is Elijah Campbell, one of the receivers, but you have Dylan Fox from the shotgun, Theodore on his right, Dolshin on his left. Dolshin faked on the carry. Here's the throw, almost interception. Almost intercepted on the play by Midi Bears number 11, Julian Garcia. And all of a sudden, Theodore, who was the intended receiver, had to play defender on that play to avoid the interception.
Yeah, he read that well. That was not the best decision at QB, but, you know, it's early in the game. You got to make sure your reads are down and pat, but switching it up with the pass play there.
3rd and goal on what's likely to be 2-down territory here for Port Jervis. They went for it on 4th down on their opening drive. Fox from the shotgun. That's Dolshin to his left. Theodore in motion. He's got the carry, trying to find the outside and cut it back inside. He stopped on the play, short of the goal line, but inside the 5-yard line, and it's going to bring up 4th down and goal for Port Jervis.
You think they go for it this time?
Absolutely. They've got less yardage now to get the touchdown than they did the first time, so they have 4th and goal from the 2 Does the Midi Bear defense have it in them to stop them one more time from the red zone?
Port Jervis just looking for something to work.
Fox under center. Dolshin with a lead fullback in front of him. Dolshin's got it right up the middle. He leaps at the last minute and gets it for the touchdown. The initial tackle was made by Jelani Graham. It looked like he had him stopped, but his knees were not on the ground, and he took the extra lunge towards the goal line and brings the ball across for the Port Jervis touchdown.
He just wanted it more. That extra effort at the end really got him that score.
So nice job by the Raiders taking advantage of field position, and with 41 seconds left here in the opening period, they take a 6-0 lead. And like I told you, Anthony, this tells you everything about the kicking game when they're going in for a 2-point conversion try. Fox is going to keep it this time on the far side, trying to get the corner. Can he get there? He does not, and Middletown stops him. And we'll see if not being able to kick an extra point or a field goal comes back to haunt Port Jervis.
Yeah, that might be a problem. You need a kicker. You need a kicker in football. I think we've seen that even in the NFL.
So 6-0 for the Raiders off of the Carol Dolshin 2-yard run. Been a great day here at Middletown. As you saw during the pregame ceremonies, we inducted 6 individuals, 1 team, and 1 coach into Middletown's Wall of Fame for 2024. Included in that was the 1961 undefeated Middletown team that finished its year with a 19-7 win over Port Jervis in a Thanksgiving Day Erie Bell game. And I believe that Middletown football team outscored its opponents going 8-0 by a score of 239-29.
What a stat.
And pitched 4 shutouts.
Talk about explosive.
So in now to kick the football is number 16. Looks like number 16, Cole Corcoran. Kick coming down there, the 18-yard line across the 25 and the 30, finally brought down. But good return that time by Middletown's number 33, Marquise Burgos. And Middletown will take over with a lot better field possession than it did on its opening possession. 1st and 10 from their own 31.
Yeah, a lot more field to work with as an offense. You don't have that pressure of being in the end zone, giving up a safety. Expand the field. Throw the ball down the field. Let's see what happens.
JoJo Royal, number 3 under center, the freshman quarterback for Middletown in his 3rd year. That's right, folks. 3rd year, started as a 7th grader. I believe that's face on off the carry. Does a nice job to shed the initial tackler, and still on his feet, gets across the 35. A good gainer on 1st down for Jaden Faison for the Midi Bears, all the way out to the 37-yard line. 2nd and 4 for Middletown. Last 15 seconds here of the opening quarter. We'll see. They don't need to snap the football, so my guess is they won't. They are rushing to the line, though. They're not going to get this ball off. And that'll do it here in the 1st quarter. And on the back of Carol Dolshin and a 2-yard touchdown run, the Raiders head into the 2nd quarter with a 6-0 lead over the Midi Bears. Ed Estrada, Anthony Kovacs, and Ed Diller bringing you all the action here on 845 Sports Nation, along with Midi TV simulcast for this big game, and our friends over our Gertex and our tech staff here at Middletown. They are the best tech crew in the lower Hudson Valley. That's what I'll say. I don't know anybody else in Central. What do you think, Mr. Diller? He's saying so-so. We got to give a shout out to Mr. Diller. This gentleman, folks, you should get to know Mr. Ed Diller because he's the reason why Section 9 football and Section 9 sports in general gets any play in regards to live streaming. Without him, you wouldn't be seeing some of these pictures like we did Goshen Kingston last week.
Yeah.
We're doing Middletown Port Jervis this week. We'll be covering a couple of more games on 845 Sports Nation and all Middletown games simulcast with MIDI TV. This is Mr. Kovacs, a Goshen senior. First opportunity to broadcast a football game from Fowler Field. What do you think so far?
It's a great facility, I will say. I'm hoping for a great game. That's what I'm hoping for.
2nd and 4, Jelani Graham off the carry. Bowls over a couple of would-be tacklers, but a nice job by the Raiders and the rest of the team coming back to make sure they don't lose their grip. You can tell the head coach, Straharski, for the Raiders, have told his team that this guy does not give up after you initially have that hit, so you got to keep on him. So 3rd and 3 from the 39 for Middletown. They'll need to get this defense some rest because those were 2 long drives. Port Jervis had the football for about 95% of that first quarter.
Yeah, chewing that clock down.
Hard count trying to draw Port Jervis, but they're disciplined. Up the middle, first down at the 45, across the 50, trying to bowl over some more players. Near the 45-yard line, Jelani Graham with the carry from the 39, takes the ball all the way to the 45 for a Middletown first down.
That is a player that just does not want to go down. I think that goes for both teams here today. I think we got great running backs on either side of the ball, and I think that's what's going to come down to it in this game.
16 yards on the pickup for Jelani Graham. 1st and 10 Middletown from the Port Jervis 45-yard line. Royal under center. Moving there for Middletown is Rudy Cherry. Back to pass is Royal. Tried to lead his would-be receiver Faison on the far side. He was guarded closely by number 21, Owen Carreri. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Middletown from the Raider 45.
Finally giving that defense some break. Let them catch their breath. You want this offense to start moving. You want to score, get everything in motion, get the flow going.
10:48 remaining here in the first half. 6-0 for Port Jervis. 146th edition of the Erie Bell game. Cherry in motion. He's got the football, trying to get to the far sideline, turning it at the 45 before he's finally brought down on the play.
The defenses are moving to the ball. No one is being able to get to that edge. We've seen a few plays, but not consistent enough to where you want to make that your whole game plan.
Look like Jay Pichardo and Mason Witkowski in on the tackle for Port Jervis. Pickup of 1 for Cherry and a 3rd and long for Middletown, 3rd and 9 from the Port 44-yard line. Trips receiver to the near side for Middletown. Royal back to pass. Looking towards the near side. He had a receiver, goes off the hands of Joe Mann for Middletown, and then almost coming down with the interception was Port Jervis.
Yeah, Cameron Barber, number 2, just goes through the hands.
So Middletown will punt the football here and try to regain some field position. With 10 minutes remaining here in the first half.
See if their punter can pin him down, give this defense a chance.
Jaden Faison back to punt. The returner, I believe that's Campbell. Nice kick. Little wind aided, coming down at about the 5-yard line. Middletown couldn't stop it from going into the end zone. That's unfortunate. Boy, they kind of gave up on that one a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, it looked like that was almost a perfect punt in my eyes.
And I think one player thought the other one was going to down it, and the other one looked at the other player looking to down it, and before you knew it, the ball was in the end zone for the touchback.
Yeah, just some miscommunication. As the game goes on, I think we'll see less of that.
That's a big turn of events, though, because it's a difference of having the ball down at about the 2-yard line versus the 20.
Yeah, not as much of a chance for the defense to make that impact, but
1st and 10. Dylan Fox, the junior quarterback from the shotgun with Dolshin to his right. to his left, that is, and Dolshin with the carry. Nice job that time by Middletown's number 33. On the tackle, Marquise Burgos, the linebacker coming up to make the stop.
Middletown's defense should have a lot more energy after getting that little bit of break. I'd say, what, like 6 minutes?
It's tough, though, because that running back, number 30, Carol Dolshin, coming in at 6'2", 245. That's a lot of load to bring down. So 2nd and 7 for Port Jervis from their own 23. Middletown hoping they can come up with a turnover. Pass on the far side, and right away with the tackle. That's going to be a 3-yard loss. Nice job by Middletown's number 11, Julian Garcia, waiting for Theodore to come down with the football and tackling. That's a textbook tackle going right through the would-be receiver.
Yeah, good read on the play. Hard hit, just punishing the offense.
So 3rd and 10 for Port Jervis from their own 20-yard line. We'll see if they run the football or try to go back up in the air, but I know Midi Bears are looking for a turnover deep into Port Jervis territory. 2 receivers split to either side. Dolshin in the backfield with Dylan Fox. Back to pass, looking downfield. He has a receiver. Nice catch at the 45-yard line. That's Anthony Theodore. Joe Mann couldn't get there in time to intercept. And it's going to be 1st down and 10 for Port Jervis as they convert on the 3rd and 10. And so far, that's been the name of the ball game. Port Jervis converting on 3rd down.
It's the most important play when you're on 3rd down. That's the most important play of the drive. Then and there. And Port Jervis is making the plays on 3rd down. They don't want to stop their drive.
And that just keeps that Middletown defense on the field. 1st and 10 for Port at their own 47-yard line. It's going to be a flag on the play. Dolshin right up the middle. He's got a lot of running room. Down the near sideline at the 30. Cuts it back towards the middle. Still on his feet at the 20-yard line. A beautiful cutback. Carol Dolshin with a flag pending takes it into the end zone for a Port Jervis touchdown.
That looked like a beast mode type run out there. What a run by Carol Dolshin.
We'll see what this flag is.
We have a sideline warning on Middletown. The run resulted in a touchdown.
So no flag on the play, just a sideline warning against the Midi Bears. And Carol Dolshin with his 2nd touchdown takes this one. 53 yards for the touchdown. And Port Jervis now up 12-0 with 7:50 remaining here in the first half.
That's an explosive run. That's an explosive play. That opens up the offense for future drives so much more.
Late folks running in for the extra point attempt this time. Head coach Straharski is going to try the extra point. Number 16 for the Raiders, Cole Corcoran, in to try the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. And with 7:50 remaining here in the first half, Port Jervis, after relinquishing the Erie Bell last year to the Midi Bears, trying to take it back on I-84 to the west side of the county. Middletown, though, on offense, looked halfway decent. They just couldn't convert on their 3rd down. Meanwhile, Port's been converting on just about every single 3rd down.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the penalties. We've seen more on Middletown when they're on offense than we have for Port, and I think that really affects the game. But hopefully that Middletown offense can get going. We saw some glimpses of what they want.
I enjoy watching, especially the Erie Bell game. We get a lot of Middletown alumni coming back. I see out in the bleachers Sierra DeGiorgio, who was the Middletown quarterback for a few games here at Middletown. The highest classification female ever to throw in New York State history.
Wow.
So Middletown's going to need to respond here and try to gain back some of this Port Jervis momentum. The kickoff comes down at the 15, across the 30-yard line, still on his feet, and a nice little return that time by Burgos once again And it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 33 for the Midi Bears, similar to the last drive. I believe they started from the 33 as well.
Yeah, it's not bad. You got to open up the field, get those simple routes down, and the offense could definitely be at what they really want. Last week might not have gone to plan, but
I think both quarterbacks, I think, have to start putting a little bit more zing in their passes. They're throwing up a lot of floaters, and keep doing that, eventually the defense is going to come down with an interception.
Yeah, 100%.
So 1st and 10 for Middletown. They trail in the ball game, 13-0. Give up the middle, face on across the 35, still on his feet, near the 38-yard line. Brought down on the play by Austin Mack, number 8. So Faison takes the ball all the way down to the 38-yard line. A pickup of 6 on the play, 2nd and 4 for Middletown from their own 38. Royal under center. Graham, but right away in the backfield. As Royal was handing that ball off to Graham, coming across the line was number 22 for the Raiders, Ben Rivera. And Ben Rivera, folks, going to hear his name for a bunch of years. He's only an 8th grader, coming in at 6 feet 180. I looked at some of his stats from their 2 wins over Liberty and Goshen, and you know, he's getting involved little bit by little bit, but as an 8th grader, he's got a lot of potential, obviously.
Long way to go. A lot of experience to gain.
3rd down on the near side. Caught. Boy, I thought he was trying to get Barbosa, but instead coming down with the football is Rudy Cherry. And a nice pass and catch by Royal to Cherry out to the 45-yard line. And that's going to be a 1st down for Middletown on a very big 3rd down conversion. You can kind of feel this Middletown crowd just waiting to erupt.
Yeah, getting a little antsy.
Yeah, they want a reason to really start making this place rock. 1st and 10 Middletown, their own 45-yard line. Royal under center, Jelani Graham is the lone running back, and that's going to be motion against Middletown. I tell you, I thought he was drawn off by Port Jervis coming across the line first. And we'll see if that's what the call, but Cherry moved after the defensive players came across.
All right. Hey, dead ball, offside.
And that's what the call
Defense.
is.
There you go. That's a good look for Middletown right there.
You know, you can move on offense if the other teams come across the line.
Yeah, you got to react to him coming off. That 3rd down, that does start some momentum, gets it in the right direction for Middletown, hopefully to build off of that.
That gives Middletown a free 5 yards, 1st and 5 from midfield. Face on off the handoff, led by Graham. It's going to be a flag that's going to come back for holding. So, again, the laundry coming into play here this afternoon.
Holding, Middletown.
So that's going to repeat 1st down again.
It's the small things. It's the small little things that need to be cleaned up in order for this Middletown offense to reach the capability they can be.
It's a spot foul from the 50, so that's going to make it, I think, 1st and 15 now for Middletown. The yard marker on the far side says 2nd down, but I believe that's 1st down. And yeah, and they're telling him to make sure they mark down at 1st. So 1st and 15 for Middletown from their own 40-yard line after the holding call. Surprised they didn't reset this, but game clock, they just get it off. Rudy Cherry along the far side trying to turn it upfield. And another flag that comes in late, and it might be another hold for Middletown.
Yeah, it looks like these line of scrimmage might be the be-all, end-all in this game, where both these offenses are using that to create the big plays. but the penalties are limiting that.
We'll get the call here by our referee.
During the run, illegal block in the back, Middletown.
That's the second illegal block in the back, and Coach Straharski, it was a loss on the play, so I wasn't sure if he would take the play or the penalty yardage, but obviously he wants to gain back some field position. So the ball's marked at the 27-yard line. It's still going to be first down. They need to get 28 yards to get out to, 38 yards to get out to the 45-yard line of Port Jervis for a first down. But it is first down, so they're going to have to try throw the football here, and that's what Royal does. Jelani Graham and, boy, Port Jervis did a nice job of reading that screen pass. Very disciplined team, as Port Jervis typically is.
Yeah, it looks like they're all on the same page. They know where to go, know where to be. The communication is on point right now. They're getting to the ball fast and quick.
26 yards left to try to get a first down. Second down and 26 for Middletown. 4:28 remaining here in the first half. Port Jervis leads it 13-0. Back to pass is Royal. Looking downfield, over the middle. Tried to find Joseph Mann at about the 45-yard line to try to gain back some of this penalty yardage and make third down manageable, but that falls incomplete, and it'll be 3rd and 26 for Middletown.
Yeah, just a bit of a floater on that ball. Luckily not intercepted.
Now the Midi Bears do get the football to start the second half, but they need to do some work here in the last 4:13 to either pick up a first down or make sure defensively that they don't let this game get out of hand. Dual receivers to either side for Middletown. Royal from the shotgun looking downfield over the middle. He had Barbosa, but then it falls incomplete, but coming down with the interception instead is number 44 for Port Jervis, Mason Witkowski. I kind of lost my vision a little bit, but there were 3 Port Jervis defenders around Barbosa who couldn't come down with the football. And once again, for the second time in the first half, Port Jervis starts a drive on the Middletown side of the field.
Yeah, on that play, you see this more often now. You see the Port Jervis defense, they get into that umbrella coverage, and it really just lets the zone play the ball. And that's what happened there, number 44 with the interception.
Dolshin. Raiders smelling blood now. What looks like a 10-yard pickup and a first down for Carol Dolshin. And really, Anthony Theodore has been the primary back for Port Jervis for a long time, but Carol Dolshin does the yeoman's work, and they have found the formula here at Fowler so far on the back of Carol Dolshin.
Yeah, that big offensive line definitely helps win that line of scrimmage, opening up the running game.
And the Middletown defense has just been on the field for a tremendous amount of time here in the first half. Fox is going to keep it on the near sideline. He's got one man to beat. Dylan Fox down the sideline. Touchdown, Port Jervis from 35 yards out. And the lead balloons to 19-0 for the Raiders.
That offensive line created a huge hole for Dylan Fox just to run right to the end zone. Break that tackle at the end and say goodbye. (19-0). Look, they're going to just kick the PAT here.
Corcoran in for the point after. Still 3:39 remaining. The Midi Bears could try to do something here on offense, and then they get the football to start. So there's a window of opportunity here for Middletown, but it'll close quickly if they can't put up any points before halftime. Extra point is up, and it's good. So with 3:39 remaining, the third rushing touchdown. Last week, Middletown gave up the touchdowns in the air. This week, it's against this Port Jervis running game, led by one of the team captains, senior running back number 30, Carol Dolshan, with his 2 touchdowns so far, and this last one by junior quarterback Dylan Fox from 36 yards out, and it's Port Jervis 20 and Middletown nothing.
It's that ground and pound playbook. Just looking to tire out the defense. The time of possession here is wildly skewed in the first half.
Want to make sure you join Isaac Caetano, Ed Diller, and myself for our 845 Sports Nation podcast, talking about Section 9 football as we review the week's games and take a look forward. And we'll have a lot to talk about, Mr. Diller, at this weekend's podcast on 845 Sports Nation. Beautiful day weather-wise. Not so much on the field for the Midi Bears so far here in the first half, as the ball comes down at about the 18-yard line, across the 25, the 30, the 35-yard line, and tripped up across the 35. For Middletown, I believe that was number 1 for the Midi Bears, James May, or actually it was number 7, Javion Roldan with the run back. And Middletown will have the football at their own 37-yard line, 3:34 remaining in the first half, down 20-0.
Best starting field position this drive. There we go. Looking a little positive.
Middletown trying to put something up on the board to stem this Port Jervis momentum. And like I said, they also get the football to start the second half. Graham trying to find some running room up the middle. And really, you know, the Raider defense is concentrating on that inside running game. They got some speed on the edges, but Middletown is going to have to try to think about moving more to the outside on their running game.
Yeah, you can see the bunch formation from the defense on the line, and that's going to just stop and close any holes that O-line creates. It's going to make it really hard for this running game to get going.
Ball's marked at the 40-yard line. A pickup of 3, 2nd and 7 for the Midi Bears. Royal back to pass off the fake. He's going to kick the football, trying to get to the outside, but he's going to have to go out of bounds and going to lose about 3 or 4 on the play. They'll mark him at about the 38-yard line. So a loss of 2 on the play, and it's going to be 3rd and 9, a familiar position, unfortunately, for this Middletown offense.
Yeah, on that last play, it looked like he was looking for number 11, Julian Garcia. Just miscommunication, I'd say, results in that step out from Joe Royal.
Middletown trying to avoid going 0-3 to start the season. They are the defending Section 9 Class AA champions, graduating a big bulk of their offensive line. We're going to get a timeout by Middletown here as the play clock was running down. 2:44 remaining here in the first half. Ed Estrada, Anthony Kovacs, and Ed Diller bringing you all the action on 845 Sports Nation, along with the Middletown Tech crew here in the press box at Fowler Field. The 146th edition of the Erie Bell game on this gorgeous afternoon in Middletown. And the Midi Bears behind the 8 ball, trailing 20-0.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 44 seconds to go. I think that's a lot of time. You know, you definitely don't close down the offense. Keep expanding the playbook. You got timeouts, 2 more. Why not? Try to drive the field.
Hey, you're down 20-0. There's nothing to lose at this point. And you have a big 3rd down and 9 here at your own 37-yard line.
3rd down. One of those points where Port Jervis has been able to capitalize. See if Middletown can do the same on this drive.
Big crowd, about 3,000 or so here at Fowler.
On a beautiful Saturday afternoon, I'd say.
I believe Middletown heads on the road next week before coming home for 3 straight home games. Trips receivers on the near side for Middletown. And now we got another timeout. I don't think, let's see what the call is.
Timeout Middletown, second charge.
Don't think they like the setup, or there might have been an extra player as we see number 11, Julian Garcia, coming off the field late. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they had 12 men on, so before that flag came out, they made sure that they called a timeout and got Garcia off the field.
Yeah, you come out of a timeout and you go back out with an extra player. That's just a little miscommunication. Hopefully that second timeout doesn't cost them at the end of this drive. It is 3rd and 9, so Port Jervis does have a chance to get the ball back, and they do have 3 timeouts.
A slight breeze going from across the field from the far side to the near side, so from the Port Jervis sideline towards the Middletown sideline, but not a factor so far this afternoon.
Yeah, Port Jervis used their kicker on those last 2 scoring drives, but not on the first.
A lot going on here at Fowler Field this year in addition to football. This is the home of the Eastern Sectional Semifinals in football for New York State. 3rd and 9. Royal on the near side looking towards the downfield. Beautiful catch. Did he come back in bounds? He did, and that's going to be a Middletown first down. That was the best pass that I've seen Royal throw this afternoon. He finds Barbosa, who, as I mentioned earlier, was his favorite target up at Baldwinsville in the opening game of the year, and we'll see if that can provide some added momentum to Middletown, though they lost 2 timeouts setting up that play.
Yeah, probably the most zing we've seen on the ball from Joseph Royal. But successful on the 3rd down. That's a big step in the offense here.
We'll see if they throw the football again here with the clock winding down, 2:17 remaining. They're going to give it to Graham across the 45. Best run of the day almost here. He had an earlier one for 16 yards, but a nice job this time as well by Graham. Gets down to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 8 on the play, 2nd and 2 for Middletown from the Port Jervis 40, the second time they've been in the Raiders side of the field.
Yeah, clock rolling, minute 50 to go.
Hurry up offense, no huddle for Middletown. That's Cherry going to the right side of the line. Royal's going to go back to pass, and he's going to roll to his left, over the middle, threw it behind Barbosa. That was a tough toss. He had some Raiders on the inside, which is the reason why I didn't think he wanted to lead him.
Yeah, you don't want your wide receiver taking a big hit for the clock running in the open field. Might not have been the best pass, but in order for his receiver not to get hurt.
This is going to be 4-down territory, so you might see a handoff here to Jelani Graham, just trying to get the first down first, because the clock will stop if they're able to get the first down. That's Graham to the right. Barbosa in motion, right to Graham up the middle. He's got the first down, and that'll stop the clock. 1st and 10 for Middletown at the Port Jervis 36 with 1:35 left in the first half.
Most offensive efficiency we've seen from Middletown is definitely coming on this drive. Port Jervis defense has been on the field for a little bit now. Clock's been stopping. Just keep moving the ball.
1st and 10. Royal from the shotgun. Graham to his left. He's got 2 receivers to the top side, 1 to the near side. Back to pass is Royal. Throws it right up to Barbosa. Got it at the 30. Cuts back in at the 25. Going to be a first down near the 15-yard line. And Middletown with its deepest penetration of the afternoon onto the Port Jervis side of the field. 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line.
And just a complete bulldoze by Aiden Barbosa at the end of that play, laying a hit.
1:03 remaining here in the first half. Clock continues to run. Middletown trailing 20-0.
Timeout, Port Jervis.
And this time, the shoe on the other foot. Port Jervis needing to call a timeout on defense to try to get his team a little air.
Yeah, a lot of pressure here at this point. 52 seconds in the half. If you're Port, you don't want to give up a score and then Middletown get the ball back after half.
That's before this drive started. We talked about the fact that Middletown really has one window here, and the window is scoring to end the first half and scoring again to start the second half, and that gets you back in that game and also builds your momentum into the second half.
Yeah, 100%. This drive is definitely a way better look than we've seen from Middletown thus far this half. Hopefully we see they have that first step. They're in the middle of it. If they can continue, it'll be looking good. But that Port defense has not broken yet.
Correct. There's still a 0 on the board here for Middletown with 52 seconds remaining. Port now has 2 timeouts remaining. Middletown 1. We'll have some cheerleading and marching MIDI performances at halftime.
The most Middletown wants out of this is just a little bit of points.
You want a lot of points. I think you gotta get the touchdown here if you're Middletown. Royal 1st and 10. Looking towards the end zone. He's got separation, but just overthrows the intended receiver, James May, on the near sideline pylon.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense.
And that's going to cost 15 yards for Port. And that one hurts with 47 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, that one hurts if you're Port. Did not want that to happen. Still got 47 seconds left. Now that opens up the playbook for that red zone offense to really use any of the receivers on the field.
And I didn't see the penalty only because Royal got rid of the football real quick downfield. So whenever he got hit, it was definitely late because he had the ball gone for a while.
Yeah, I didn't even think I saw it.
So this will be 1st and 10 for Middletown. They'll mark the ball at the 11-yard line. So it looks like the Midi Bears can get a first down, I believe.
Spreading the receivers out here.
Handoff inside. Jelani Graham at the 10. The 5-yard line. Jelani Graham near the end zone. Touchdown. A nice inside handoff, and just like that, there's energy here at Fowler.
That window stays open for Middletown. That's exactly what they wanted on this drive.
Midi Nation on their feet, 20-6 with 40 seconds left, with the point after pending. The kicker, David Suazo Castillo, coming in. Plenty of time left on the play clock to get this off. The holder is Joseph Mann. Kick is up. Kick is good. And with 40 seconds left, the Midi Bears are on the board, and they've woken up the faithful here at Fowler. 20-7 Port Jervis. And as we talked about, Anthony, the Midi Bears get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, that's a successful first step in that window. Now you just make sure those last 40 seconds of this half, you don't let Port score. But
they do have 2 timeouts, so we'll see what type of a kickoff we get here.
Yeah,
for Middletown. But, you know, the other thing here, if you're Port Jervis, do you really want to risk putting the ball in the air with 40 seconds left and maybe turn the ball over when you don't want to and let Middletown put another one up on the board?
Hey, we've seen explosive plays. Anthony Theodore had, 30-yard play down the middle of the field, so it's definitely possible for Port to keep their offense
And
rolling.
remember, when it's 20-0, folks here at Fowler are like, that's no sweat. We were down 19 with 4 minutes left in the game 10 years ago and came back and won.
Hey, that's the confidence you need as a fan base.
Now, how old were you 10 years ago, Anthony?
7
There
years
we go.
old. Think about that. That's a long time.
Little squibber coming down the near side at the 30, the 25. They're going to try to see if it'll go out of bounds, and it does. So it'll be a penalty that'll give Port Jervis probably enough of an incentive to try to see what they can do. Now, you might try to hand the ball off here and just see, or a screen pass, something that's safe, and see if they can come down with a lot of yardage.
Yeah, try to get the ball in your playmakers' hands. If they can get in that open field, we've seen it from 3 players now. Anthony Theodore.
Though they've had a little trouble finding Theodore sometimes. We saw one that was almost intercepted on the near side, but we'll see what head coach Damian Straharski and the Raiders draw up here. 1st and 10, their own 35-yard line. They lead in the ball game 20-7 with 40 seconds left here in the first half. Over the middle, there's Theodore that we talked about. Good call by Mr. Kovacs. That's going to be enough for a first down. It'll stop the clock with 36 seconds left. Again, Port with 2 timeouts, and now they've got enough where they think they can start going downfield as the ball's near midfield, 1st and 10 from their own 48.
Even Dylan Fox can scramble if he really needs.
And that's what he's looking, and now looks downfield, has a man open. That's Theodore right down the middle between 2 Midi Bears, and the mistake leads to a long Port Jervis touchdown. 53 yards on the connection. Dylan Fox to Anthony Theodore, and that takes away all the momentum the Midi Bears had just put up.
They didn't even need all 40 seconds. All they needed was 16. Look at that. Didn't even use a timeout. That's good game plan.
But right down the middle of the seam, and the 2 Middletown defenders. And that secondary for the Midi Bears has been a problem so far. Giving up 300 yards in the air to Warwick last week, and a long touchdown just now to Port Jervis from 53 yards. The extra point is good, and that makes it 27-7, Port Jervis.
Looked like Middletown was in a zone defense on there, but Anthony Theodore was able to cut the zone and just find the open spot right in the middle of the field. Beautiful ball.
And both defenders kind of looked at each other trying to say, you make the tackle, no, you make the tackle, and then neither one did.
Yeah, they almost bumped into each other, it looked like.
That is something that at halftime is going to bring the ire of the Middletown coaches, because just can't let that happen with 24 seconds remaining. Middletown has 1 timeout. Corcoran on the kickoff, a little squibbler coming down the middle. Ball's at the 25, the 30, across the 35-yard line, still on his feet. With 18 seconds left, Middletown will take the football at their own 38-yard line.
On that last Middletown drive, they're successful in getting their first step into the door, but the defense breaks in that 16 seconds.
Now, in fairness to the defense, they've been on the field for a long period of time, and I'm sure a bit winded, but there isn't anybody on that blue sideline who will not tell you that that was a mistake in coverage. First and 10 for Middletown, their own 38, 18 seconds left here in the first half. Royal back to pass. Sheds a couple of would-be tacklers. It's going to be a flag on the play, looks like in the holding area. So that'll stop the clock. Well, the clock's still running. I don't know why, because there is a flag on the play.
And they stopped that clock with 2 seconds left.
All right, we have a 5-yard face mask. 5-yard face mask on the defense. Still first.
And they're looking up at the clock now. They'll make the adjustment.
Can you please reset the clock to 11 seconds? 11 seconds.
9 seconds ran off that clock.
I don't know.
Somebody fell asleep at the switch. So first down, there's 11 seconds left. Middletown does have one more timeout. So if you're going to get a pass off here, it should be, you can still go down the middle and spike the football because the clock will stop on the first down. Looks like some commotion here by Middletown, and I think they're going to need to call their last timeout. Didn't have an indication on who called the timeout here, so I'm not sure if it's...
I think that's halftime.
Oh, that's halftime. Oh, the clock ran.
I did not even realize
They
that.
didn't call a timeout, the Midi Bears?
I guess not. The penalty results.
I think they're coming out to talk. The coaches for Middletown are like, what the heck happened here? Why, after the penalty, were they not allowed to call a timeout? But Middletown heads into the locker room, somewhat dejected, and you can tell. Midi Blue is walking to the locker room. Port Jervis White is sprinting to the locker room, so you know who's taking the lead here at Fowler. So on the strength of Carol Dulshan, and then late in the first half, a long 53-yard connection from Dylan Fox to Anthony Theodore, sandwiched in between a Middletown touchdown from Jelani Graham, and Port Jervis heads into halftime with a 27-7 lead. We'll take a break here on 845 Sports Nation, as well as Midi TV. Ed Estrada, Anthony Kovacs, and Ed Diller bringing you all the action. Your halftime score, Port Jervis 27 and Middletown 7. Back here at Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School, the 146th edition of the Erie Bell game. Ed Estrada, along with Anthony Kovacs, Ed Diller, and our folks out in the field. We have 4 cameramen out there. I know George Diller is one of them on the main camera, and the Middletown Tech crew helping us out here as we go on the live stream with 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV. Anthony, tell us a little bit about your thoughts about this first half.
Both teams have had explosive moments. I just think it comes down to opening up the playbook, opening up the field. Once, for a team like Middletown, I think once you expand that playbook and hit those small flat routes, just in the flats, something small, get the chemistry going, I think that'll open it up the game for them. Port Jervis, on the other hand, they're running the ball like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're just bulldozing over these kids, and I think both defenses are moving the ball so fast, but Port Jervis has that upper hand at the moment. The communication's just one step ahead. As we saw on that last touchdown from Port Jervis, Anthony Theodore being able to cut those defenders open in the zone, just take it into the end zone.
Despite the Port dominance in the first half, the Midi Bears had a window of opportunity, and that was score to end the first half and then score again here as you get the football to start the second half. But that touchdown, the 53-yard pass from Dylan Fox to Anthony Theodore right down the middle seam between 2 of the Middletown defenders, was a gut punch.
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't know. I mean, it still hurts, and I'm from up here. So, the first couple of touchdowns, Port Jervis probably had the ball 90% of the time in that first half, so that Middletown defense was gassed towards the end of the first half. Dolshin scoring on a 2-yard run with about 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter to give Port a 6-0 lead. They went for the 2-point conversion, didn't score, and then followed up with a 53-yard touchdown. Carol Dolshin once again with 7:50 remaining in the first half, and Port was up 13-0 after the extra point. And then, once again, it was Dylan Fox, this time from 36 yards out, running the football in from the quarterback position with 3:39 remaining, making it 20-0 Port Jervis. And then Middletown had its best drive of the afternoon, although they did drive the ball several times, just couldn't convert on third down. But on this particular drive, they did, and ended up scoring on a run by Jelani Graham to end the extra point, made it 20-7. And now you thought, okay, you got some momentum, the crowd's back into it, they get the ball to start the second half. All they got to do is defend the last 40 seconds or so, and they just could not do that.
Yeah, it's the time of possession, really. If your defense is on the field for what you said, they are on the field 90% of that first half, you got to expect your players are going to be tired. And with that 40 seconds, Port Jervis, they use that to their advantage and expand the field and get it open to Anthony Theodore for that touchdown. I think Middletown definitely had their foot in the door there. Just the defense couldn't capitalize on that last 40.
And for many people out in Section 9, this is not a surprising score, and that's nothing against Middletown. It has a lot to say about Port Jervis. Port Jervis is a 4-time Section 9 Class B champion. They, this year, have an opportunity to really make some noise, in my opinion, in the state playoffs. They should win Section 9 Class B again this year. They may not lose a game this year, as a matter of fact, because they're back within their class after this game against Middletown. So this is going to be a team you're going to hear from in Class B in New York State. They will probably likely be a top 5 ranked team in New York State this year. And right now they're taking it to the Midi Bears 27-7 as we start the second half. So Cole Corcoran getting ready to kick off, and if Middletown wants to get a taste of this game, they'll have to put up a touchdown here on their opening drive. Little squibber coming down the middle of the field near the 20-yard line, picked up at the 15 on the near sideline, still on his feet, all the way down the near sideline. Corcoran holds him up just enough, but a good run back for Middletown's number 7, Javion Roldan, taking the ball from the 15 across the 50, all the way down to about the 46-yard line. And here's the replay on it. A nice seam down the near sideline. Want to thank Ed Diller for bringing up that replay for us here on 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV. 1st and 10 for Middletown on the positive side of the field, and that's the Raider 46-yard line. Give on the near side. Jelani Graham doing his thing like he does. A quick 6-yard pickup on the opening play and a late flag coming in. And we'll see who that's against, but it looks to be a personal foul that's going to either add 15 or take away 15 for one of these two teams.
Yeah, penalties has been a big one.
At the end of the run, we have a personal foul, late hit on the defense.
So Middletown could not have scripted the start any better.
Yeah.
They have a 39-yard return on the kick to the 46 of Port Jervis. And then on the opening play of 5 yards from Jelani Graham, you can add another 15. So 1st and 10 Middletown at the Port 25. The give to Faison, fumbles the football, and just like that, the momentum goes right back to the team in white.
Wow, that's just miscommunication at that point. You're handing off the ball to your running back. That's textbook.
Sometimes you got to ask yourself or say to yourself, it just wasn't meant to be, and that Middletown sideline is going to probably start thinking that, because just as it looked like everything was going their way, the fumbled exchange between JoJo Royal and number 8, Jaden Faison, gives Port Jervis the ball right back at their own 29-yard line, just as Middletown was driving. Dylan Fox going to keep it up the middle. Picked up about 3 yards on the play to the 32. 2nd and 7 for Port Jervis, their opening drive of the second half.
Yeah, for Middletown, that's the one thing you couldn't do there on an offense. You had the perfect start on the kickoff, one man to beat, the kicker on Port Jervis, Corcoran, he gets the stop. You get the penalty, and now turnover leads to Port Jervis having the ball all over again. 11:02 play.
Theodore in motion. He's got the football. Trying to get to the far side, and he does. He's at the 40-yard line. He's got enough for a Port Jervis first down before he's brought down by Faison on the far side of the field. So he picked up not only the 7 yards that he needed for a first down, but another 3 on the play, so a 10-yard pickup for Theodore. 1st and 10 for Port Jervis at their own 41. Trying to put an extra nail in that Middletown coffin. Dolshin. Some good tackling that time by Middletown on the far side. Looks to be number 55 for the Midi Bears on the tackle. Jamison Paz. No gain on the play.
That Middletown defense was quick to get to the ball, but at the end of that play, Carol Dolshin just stiff-armed a man into the turf. I think I might have seen him bounce.
So Theodore this time in the backfield to the right of Fox. Fakes the pitch, and he goes to the other side, running the football and keeping it. Just a couple of yards on the play, and it's going to bring up 3rd and about, call it about 3 yards. So 3rd and 7 for Port Jervis after the 3-yard pickup. Ball's at the Port 44.
Good job by the Middletown defense to force this 3rd down and 7.
Now we'll see if that Middletown secondary can withstand a pass here on 3rd and 7, if that's what Port chooses. And that's what they're choosing. Rolling to the right, Dylan Fox, and his receiver fell down across the middle of the field. The intended receiver was supposed to be number 9, Maddox McCormick.
Looked like his feet just got tangled on another defensive player there.
The turf monster.
Yeah, grabbed him.
That's the ultimate defender.
Yeah, especially when you have that open man downfield.
Back to receive the punt will be Julian Garcia, number 11. He stationed himself at about the 33-yard line. You know, do you risk Dolshin's back there, and he can run the football? You know, do you try to, you know, sometimes these Raiders will surprise you. Dolshin back there to punt the football, and he's going to do that. It's a short kick coming down to the near sideline at about the 40-yard line, and that's where they're going to mark the football. So the Middletown defense needed to do what it just did, and that's stop Port Jervis and see if the Mini Bears can pull off a drive without any mistakes. That'll just going to lead to some scores, but they have to score quick.
Yeah, I think that might have been the first. What is it? Was that a 3 and out? I would say that might have been the first 3 and out.
They didn't. It wasn't a 3 and out though. They actually got a first down.
Yeah. So you don't want Port Jervis to have all the ball the whole time again. So that was definitely a good stop by Middletown.
Royal on the handoff to Jelani Graham, trying to find some room before he's brought down. A nice tackle that time by Dolshin in the Middletown backfield. It's going to be a loss of 2 for Graham and the Midi Bears. 2nd and 12 for Middletown from their own 38. Actually, they'll mark him at the 39, so it'll be 2nd and 11. With the exception of that Middletown touchdown, Midi Nations had to sit on their hands for most of this ball game.
The offense has been able to drive. It's just when it gets to that 3rd down, they haven't been able to overcome and get past that next step.
Trip receivers to the right. Quick pass. Garcia at the 45, trying to find some more room. Spins away from the tackle at the end, so he picks up about 8 yards on the play to the 46-yard line, and it gives Middletown a little bit more manageable of a 3rd down, 3rd and 4 from the 46 for Middletown.
Yeah, might be looking at a little screen play, maybe a little out route. Just open up the field a little bit.
7:40 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Port Jervis 27, Middletown 7. Straight back to pass is Royal for the first down on the far side. Joe Mann with the catch before he goes out of bounds. And for the second straight possession, Middletown's been moving the football on offense since about midway through the 2nd quarter. They just have only been able to put up the 1 score because of some mistakes and some missed opportunities on 3rd down.
Yeah, just limit the mistakes, keep the ball rolling. You make a mistake, forget about it. Forget about that mistake. Keep playing.
Looks like there's a player down on the far sideline, and it looks to be a Middletown player. We'll see if that's, and that is Mann, who came down with the reception on the far sideline. So with 7:32 remaining here in the 3rd quarter, Ed Estrada, Anthony Kovacs, Ed Diller, George Diller, and the Midi crew on camera here at Middletown. We want to thank all of our Gertex in Middletown for helping us out, bring this live stream on 845 Sports Nation, as well as Midi TV. Our 2nd broadcast of the year on 845 Sports Nation. Anthony and I covered Goshen and Kingston last week. We'll see what, a lot of surprising games and scores this week. Cornwall going on the road and defeating Newburgh by a hefty score after the Goldbacks has started off the year 2-0. Monroe Woodbury is now 3-0 on the year.
It's a good start. 3-0.
And the Crusaders had beaten Cornwall the week before. So round and round things going. Section 9 football. Middletown trying to avoid going 0-3 on the season. And as we mentioned, the Midi Bears are the defending Section 9 Class AA champions. And in fairness, they did graduate some outstanding offensive and defensive linemen last year that helped propel the Midi Bears to that sectional championship. But that's an old story now. And the new story that Midi Bears are hoping to write would be a miraculous finish here in the 2nd half. They trail in the ball game by 20, have it 1st and 10 at the Port Jervis 44-yard line. Royal, Graham. Across the 35, 40-yard line, that is. At about the 39. We'll see if they give him the 39. Now they're going to mark him at the 40, so a 4-yard pickup, 2nd and 6 for Graham and the Middies.
If you're Middletown, you want to keep the ball rolling, get it in the playmaker's hands. If we could start seeing some balls down the field, that'll definitely change the way this game is being played right now. It's winner of the offensive line, offensive scrimmage.
Royal looking downfield. There you made the call. Barbosa. Barbosa looked like he stopped a little bit, thinking that perhaps his quarterback might not be able to get it downfield. But he needed to keep running the pattern because he would have probably caught up to that ball.
Yeah, he had about two, 3 steps on that DB. Just not enough trust in the quarterback, it looks like, on that play.
So a pivotal 3rd down on what's likely the rest of the game to be 4-down territory for Middletown given the score. 6:39 remaining in the 3rd. Royal in the backfield from the shotgun. Jelani Graham to his right. The give on the far side off the fake. A nice job in pursuit by Port Jervis, and you just can't fool a good disciplined Raider defense.
Yeah, they have the communication definitely down pat. Looks like they're getting the ball in less than 2 seconds. Whoever has the ball, they're there.
Javion Roldan had the carry for Middletown. We have a Port Jervis player down on the far sideline, so we'll have another delay here for an injury. Try to get you a name on the Port Jervis injury. Setting the scene again here at Fowler, Ed Estrada, Anthony Kovacs, Ed Diller. 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV, 6:17 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. It's been all Port Jervis for the most part. They lead it 27-7. And Middletown facing a 4th and 7 from the Port 41-yard line. As you hear a nice round of applause for the Raiders' number 55, Xavier Joseph, the injured player, being walked off the field. And we'll see what head coach Tim Strenfeld and the Midi Bears have in the playbook for 4th and 7.
Looks like they're going for it. Gonna have to at this point in the game, down by 20. 6:17 to play in the 3rd.
Lined up with 3 receivers on the near side. The one closest to the sideline is Barbosa. The inside receiver is Garcia. Back to passes, Royal. Almost intercepted as he tried to find Barbosa. Meanwhile, he had Garcia on the near sideline wide open. I think he had an intent of going to Barbosa, and no matter what, that's who he was going to go after. So the Midi Bears can't convert on their 2nd possession in Port territory, and the Raiders will have it 1st and 10 on the turnover on downs from their own 41.
Yeah, Joseph Royal just puts up a 50-50 ball for Barbosa to go get, but Barbosa was deeper than the DB was.
Also want to give a shout out to Vinny Mortellero, who's an alum Middletown quarterback. He's won this game before. Up the middle, Theodore on the run, no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 for Port from the 41.
Looks like Port's going to just try to run. They got about 4, maybe 3 different running backs. Try to use them all. Get fresh legs in there. Keep the line of scrimmage moving. Keep it in front of them. 3 receivers out to the right.
Not a typical formation. Dylan Fox looked like he was going to run the football. It's going to be coming back. Did he catch the football in bounds? He was out of bounds, so it's going to be 3rd down unless Middletown accepts the penalty, which is a hold against Port Jervis.
Holding offense.
So Middletown will have the option of looking at 3rd and 10 or pushing them back another 10 yards. And it's a thought here to not accept the penalty and try to just only defend one more down. But they are going to take it. And it's a spot foul, so in addition to the fact that the hold was about 5 yards, almost 10 yards back, they're going to mark off some more.
Yeah, the decision to accept the penalty, I think that shows a little trust in your defense to stop them. 2nd and 19.
So the ball is marked at the 27-yard line. They need to get to the Middletown 49. So about 24 yards to go on 2nd down for Port Jervis. That's Theodore in motion to the far side. Straight back to pass is Fox. A little screen pass to Theodore, but Middletown read that well, and it wasn't Theodore. Number 9, Maddox McCormick, was the intended receiver for the screen pass. 3rd down for Port.
Yeah, that pressure that Middletown got on Dylan Fox forces him to lob the ball. Didn't have a zip on it to get to his receiver in time.
5:07 remaining in the 3rd. Port Jervis 27, Middletown 7. Raiders trying to take the Erie Bell back to the west side of the county. Some late substitutions in there for Middletown. Back to pass, Fox, a big rush and coming down, the first sack of the afternoon for Middletown's defense, which has looked much better here in the second half. Might have been Rudy Cherry, number 24.
Able to force a punt on this Port drive. That's what Middletown's defense definitely needed. Still down by 20.
4th down and 29 as they're going to punt the football. Dolson back to punt the football. The Midi Bears have put themselves, the punt returners, near midfield. High snap. Nice job by Dolson, but he's going to have to hold on to the football, and Middletown's going to take over, and it's going to be a face mask here, I believe, against Middletown. And we'll see if that's an automatic 1st down. And, boy, things just don't go right. They don't go right.
Yeah, you make a positive play, and then right at the end, unfortunate grabbing the face mask.
Middletown was supposed to come away here with the ball. Here's the call.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, 15 from the previous spot. We play 4.
So it's not an automatic 1st down, thankfully for Middletown. And since it was a spot foul, that'll give Port Jervis 15 yards on the play, but it's still going to leave them at 4th down and about 14 yards on the play. So Dolson will be right back in to punt the football, but unfortunately Middletown just gave up about 30 yards on the play. There's Dolson with the kick. Fair caught by Barbosa at about the 38-yard line, and where Middletown will take over their 3rd possession of the second half, but they have no points to show for it. Middletown's been knocking at the door, but mistakes have stopped them from scoring at a time when they needed to put up some points to give yourself a shot in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, defense has tremendously stepped up for Middletown, but now we need it on the opposite side of the ball. Middletown needs it on the opposite side of the ball if they want to keep moving it down the field, which they have this half, but the small mistakes, the turnovers, the flags. Joseph Royal looking to get it started.
Inside handoff to Graham, trying to get to the outside. He's got room at the 45. He's just still on his feet. He made something out of absolutely nothing. Picks up about 4 on the play, and it's going to bring up 2nd and 6 for Middletown from their own 37-yard line.
Looked like he said, "Get off me," to about 4 players that play to get.
You can feel it that he saw in his eyes that if I can get by this one guy, but
they just kept coming.
They kept coming, and they've done a nice job so far, that Raider defense, on minimizing the rushing. Royal, back to pass, rolling to his left, looking downfield. Had a receiver, overthrew Barbosa on the play. He was well covered, double covered on it.
Yeah, for Middletown, it almost looks like Joseph Royal is predetermining what receiver he wants to throw to. As a quarterback, you want to be able to make that split decision, find the open receiver. But the Port defense.
Yeah, you want to have options, safety valves to go down. But we mentioned that in that Baldwinsville game, Barbosa was his favorite receiver, and that's who he seems to be liking to go to this afternoon as well. 3:13, 3rd and 6 for Middletown from their own 37-yard line. Over the middle, Garcia, the ball dropped. Garcia had it, the ball was thrown a little bit behind him and towards the turf. And just not being able to make these connections, and we'll see on 4th down, deep in their own territory, they're going to choose to punt the football here.
That Middletown defense going to have to go back on the field. That time of possession is looking very skewed to start this 3rd quarter.
Great point, Anthony. You know, just as you were getting them some rest with some drives, you go 3 and out on this particular drive.
And you stop the clock with 3:09.
And they're going to have to waste a timeout or take the 5-yard penalty. Yeah. We'll see if coach is going to get a timeout. He might just
Dead
choose.
ball, delay a game on the offense.
Yeah.
5 yards, still 4th down.
You want to choose the penalty here because you're going to need every single bit of your timeouts moving forward.
Yeah, it moves the Middletown offense backed up. Hopefully they can get this punt deeper than which they have previously this game, but that Port offense is looking ready.
Low kick coming down at the 35 and the 30, picked up at the last minute by Campbell, trying to cut back in, and he's got a nice little return here. Still on his feet. Elijah Campbell still moving across the 45-yard line. A good return. It looked for a second like he was just going to let it bounce, but instead picks up the football. Got a couple of Midi Bears getting up slow at about the 48-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Port Jervis from their own 47.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to make something out of nothing there. Kept taking the hits, kept those legs churning, but.
And just like that, Port Jervis reclaims field position.
Yeah, this whole game they've been able to get very good starting field position, which has in turn let their offense score the ball.
Theodore to the right. Dylan Fox, the quarterback, holding on to the football. He's found an edge around the far sideline and a big gainer inside Middletown territory.
Yeah, Dylan Fox has definitely found success today in running the ball. May it be the option, the QB option with the running back behind him, which was in the 1st quarter of this game, which he did not use. But then later in the game, he had, 34-yard rush, touchdown. He's been able to use the legs very, very efficiently this game.
Went out of bounds at about the 45. 2nd and 2 for Port from the Middletown 45. Handoff up the middle. Dulshin just dragging Middletown Midi Bears with him for a 1st down to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for Port as they look to put the exclamation point here late in the 3rd quarter.
And it looks like there's like a flag on the field, and saw some Port Jervis players signaling it was on Middletown. We'll see.
Just don't like that body language for the team in blue.
Dead ball, personal foul, late hit on the defense.
So we've had 2 of those this afternoon, now 1 for each team.
And right when you think the Middletown defense is starting to get their head together, the penalty just hurts.
1st and 10 Port from their 20-yard line, Middletown's 20-yard line. Around the far sideline, Theodore still on his feet.
tight ropes down the far sideline and takes it in from 20 yards out. And that might just do it here late in the third quarter as Port Jervis extends to a 33-7 lead.
They were able to get that play off quick.
Here's the replay going down the far sideline right here on 845 Sports Nation. Theodore takes the pitch, goes down the far sideline. I think Middletown thought he might go out of bounds, and when he didn't.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, Port Jervis.
And perhaps a little bit too much.
That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Perhaps a little bit too much celebration after the touchdown for Port. But that might be too little too late for Middletown. They're down 33-7 with an extra point pending with 2:24 remaining here in the third quarter.
Yeah, that play by Port, it looked like they were in the huddle back at almost the 40-yard line. They ran up to the line of scrimmage and just got the play off as fast as possible, which led to the Anthony Theodore touchdown.
Blocked on the extra point coming right down the middle. That was Barbosa. Having nothing of it. And so one of the only blemishes for Port Jervis this afternoon was missing on a 2-point conversion and now missing this extra point as well. But they have a substantial lead here with 2:24 remaining. And so those mistakes might not come back to haunt them.
Yeah, the rest of the Port Jervis team has been able to play some pretty good football from the offensive side, winning the line of scrimmage, from the defensive side, stopping Middletown on third down again and again.
And we'll repeat all of this next year, this time in Port Jervis, on what is a revamped and brand new Gwinnett Field at Port Jervis. After all those years of grass, Raider Nation gets to enjoy a turf facility now in Port Jervis.
More and more turf fields. I don't know, is that better for the athletes?
Not sure. I'm hearing more and more grumblings about it, but I know from a maintenance perspective and from a weather situation, you know, New York winters aren't the easiest thing when you have mud and cold and snow and rain.
Yeah, hard to maintain those natural playing surfaces.
And New York State nowadays, when you're hosting state championships like they do here at Fowler, they require the turf facility. And it's going to be a big year here at Middletown. The Fowler Field and the Middies will host, as I mentioned earlier, the Eastern semifinals in football. In early November, they'll have the state Final Four in boys soccer. And next spring, they'll have the lacrosse semifinals in the state. And New York State's largest sporting event, the track and field championships, 2,000 athletes alone, that doesn't even count the spectators and the support staff, will be here at Middletown in early June for the state track and field championships. And I've had the privilege.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team, kick out of bounds, 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
I've had the privilege of being at a couple of those state track and field championship, and it is wall-to-wall people with folks parking about a half a mile away and making their way up here. So it's an event for sure that brings a lot of economic benefit to the area here in Middletown.
Facility's perfect for it. Middletown has done a very nice job with football, baseball, soccer, track, tennis. They got everything.
Yeah, the beautiful tennis complex, the Anthony Gobio tennis complex. And Anthony Gobio, as the ball was taken at about the 48-yard line by number 33 for the Midi Bears. That's Marquise Burgos. They're going to mark him out of bounds at midfield. See if Middletown can put up a score before the end of the quarter.
Middletown offense still trying to get on that right page, same page, being able to move the ball downfield. Just those third downs that have been killing them.
This is their fourth possession of the third quarter only, and in 3 of the 4, they'd be in Port Jervis territory and came away with 0 points.
so far.
Is it the Middletown offense, or is it the outstanding Port Jervis defense?
I think there's too many mistakes. I mean, Port Jervis defense has been great, but we've seen Middletown on offense go from the 20 to the 20 without an issue. But penalties and turnovers. Nice pass that time into Port territory from the 50 down to the 45-yard line as J.J. Royal connects with number 23, Kayvon Harrison. They'll mark it at the 44 for a 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4 for Middletown from the Port 44. And we have a timeout on the field. There's no indication from the field on who called the timeout. I think it was Middletown. I'm going to take what we call a broadcaster's discretion and say that it was Middletown that took the timeout.
Yeah, Middletown's still got to get their offense going, but timeout hopefully will help. 2:07 remaining in the third quarter. Port Jervis leading this game 33-7. Middletown at Port's 44-yard line.
I couldn't see the player, but apparently it's an injury timeout. And it looks like a Port. Now I do see the athletic trainers for Port Jervis on the far side of the field. Could not see who the player was, but we're back in action here. 2nd and 4 for Middletown from the Port 44-yard line. Royal from the shotgun, straight back to pass. There's a flag on the play. Not sure if this was procedure. The Middletown wide receiver, Garcia, holding his hand up, but I don't know if that's because he didn't get the ball thrown his way or whether he was called for the penalty.
Looks like there was another flag on the play with number 5, Aiden Barbosa. Looks like he was held up by the Port Jervis defense there.
So we'll see if these two offset or if Port was on defense and had a defensive offsides. But here's the call by our referee.
Pass interference, defense, 15 previous spot, first down.
So there was a flag on the near side.
Yeah.
But they didn't call anything. I don't think the gentleman on this side could have seen the pass interference on the far side. So I'm guessing that both penalties were against Port.
Yeah.
And the referee knew that Middletown was going to take the 15-yarder versus the short offside 5-yarder. So 1st and 10 for Middletown from the Port 29-yard line. Familiar territory here in the third quarter, but the Midi Bears haven't been able to put it in. Jelani Graham just lowers the shoulder along the far sideline, and he's got our production guy, Ed Diller, laughing at how much he bowled over the would-be defender for Port Jervis. Going to pick up 9 yards on the play, so 2nd and inches really near the 20-yard line for Middletown with 1:28 remaining here in the third quarter.
That's tough running by Jelani Graham right there.
Royal back to pass. On the near side, Garcia with a beautiful catch and a beautiful pass. Defended closely by Sidney Bakari, but nothing doing. When you make a pinpoint pass like that, there's no way to defend it.
Might have been the most accurate ball I've seen all day from Joseph Roy.
Agreed. So 1st and 10, you hear public address announcer Jeff Shuko yelling out first down Middletown here at Fowler. Midi Bears trailing it 33-7, coming up on a minute left here in the third. They have it 1st and 10 at the Port Jervis 13. Royal on the near side, Barbosa tries to cut back inside. He's down near the 5-yard line. A couple of yards short of the first down. Going to bring up 2nd down and about 2 yards near the 5-yard line for Middletown. They need to get to the 3 for another first down.
Jelani Graham checking back into the game. This is the perfect area to use that running back position in your favor.
And if you're the Middies, you might want to try to score here before the quarter ends. Royal from the shotgun. Graham on the carry, looking to cut it back inside. He's going to have enough, I believe, for the first down. But that's going to do it here in the third quarter as the clock continues to run. But if it's a first down, you would think they would stop the clock momentarily. But they're not going to do that. So that's going to be the last play of the third quarter. A quarter that, in my opinion, offensively was dominated by Middletown. But it's Port Jervis who came away with a touchdown in that quarter.
Yeah, it's just those drives for Middletown ending up in no points where Port Jervis is getting the ball. They might be getting stopped by Middletown's defense, but they're still coming out with points no matter how many drives they're doing. But
the Midi Bears had 4 possessions in that quarter, 3 of them into Port territory. I think all 3 were inside, at least 2 of them have been inside the 30-yard line and came away with no scores, 1 on a fumble. Another penalty drew them back, and we'll see what this third opportunity inside the red zone here in the third quarter does as they have a first and goal from about the 2-yard line. And you can imagine that this has got Jelani Graham written all over it.
Oh, 100%. Just ran that last play down from the 5 to the 2, 3 yards in the red zone. Give your playmaker the ball. Big player, strong, push his way into the end zone. That's what Middletown will more than likely be doing.
So we're going to get started here in the fourth quarter. Ed Estrada, Anthony Kovacs, Ed Diller, George Diller, and the Middletown Midi TV crew bring you all the action from Fowler Field, the 146th edition of the Erie Bell matchup, one of the nation's longest rivalries in terms of games between Middletown and Port Jervis. And right now, the Raiders with the upper hand. First and goal, Jelani Graham takes it across the goal line for the Middletown touchdown on the opening play of the fourth quarter. And that cuts the lead to 33-13. Now, it's now a 20-point game at 33-13, pending the extra point here by Middletown kicker David Suazo Castillo. The holder on the play is Joseph Mann. Kick is up, and it is good. And with 11:57 remaining in the game, it's Port Jervis 33, Middletown 14. And now let's think about this. It is a 19-point lead for Port Jervis. 10 years ago on this very field, it was a 19-point lead for Port Jervis. The difference being there was only 4 minutes left in that game. There's 11:57 remaining in this ball game. Let's see how it turns out.
With 3 timeouts. That can come in handy in the later half of this game, later half of this quarter, with the successful Middletown drive ending up in their second touchdown of the game coming from Jelani Graham.
Now, if you're a Raider fan and watching here on 845 Sports Nation, you're probably going, Mr. Estrada, please shut up. And you're probably saying it ain't going to happen. But like I said, we've seen stranger things. We even saw Port Jervis a couple of years ago make a game close and almost pull out a win at Gwinnett. A 2-point conversion away from winning that game on a comeback as well when Middletown thought they had that game in hand.
Nothing's over until those clocks at 000. That's all I have to say. As Middletown will kick it off back to Port Jervis after their first successful drive of the second half.
Onside kick for Middletown, Port Jervis. So, and there's a flag on the play. So, I think Port might decline the play if they can, because they did get possession on the onside kick. They were prepared for it. And one of the toughest things to do is hit an onside kick on this field, only because the bounces are truer on turf than they are on grass. However, part of that game 10 years ago was Middletown recovering an onside kick on the near side that then led to the winning touchdown with about 30 seconds left in the game.
You're giving Port Jervis fans like some haunted memories right now, some haunted nightmares. They don't want to see that happening to their team again. With Middletown
I have a
kicking off.
feeling they may just kick this one deep now and let your defense try to play some defense here.
Yeah, you don't want Port to start at your own 40.
And another flag, and this time Port Jervis is offsides. So the 5 yards will come right back, and we're back to square one.
Yeah.
Still stuck at 11:57 left.
Yeah, still looking for that successful onside kick. It'll be his third time doing it now.
He's got a lot of practice.
Hey, the last one had that bounce over the first returner, actually. Like you said, the bounce is much more true on turf. See what he could do.
I'm surprised that they don't go more towards the sideline because that limits the number of Raiders who can come up with the ball. Typically on this side, it'll be one player. If you can get it off of that player, you have an opportunity. And that time, they do bobble the ball a couple times, but just like I said, you had 3 or 4 Raiders. So Middletown will be on defense here. They trail in the ball game 33-14, 11:46 remaining. I don't know why the clock continues to run. Unless there's a rule here that I'm not aware of, but the clock is running, and now it's finally stopped.
Looks like there is an injured player on Port Jervis.
Yep, there is.
It's actually Captain Maddox McCormick down. Hopefully he'll be able to get up. As he walks off the field. 11:37 remaining in this game. Middletown's defense has been much more successful in the second half. Hopefully it stays that way for them, as Port Jervis will have the ball at about the 45-yard line.
So 1st and 10 for Port Jervis, their own 45-yard line. They have the 19-point lead. Their first drive of the 4th quarter. Dylan Fox does a nice job picking up a bad snap. Dolshin with the ball. Middletown with the tackle after a couple of yards. 2nd and 8 for Port Jervis.
Port Jervis's game plan from here on out has got to be chew clock. There's 11:19 remaining. 2nd and 8.
And if you're Middletown, you're going to try to strip the football if you can.
Got to play aggressive on defense.
Well, they got dual receivers on the right-hand side. And they're going to throw the football, and they got Theodore. I believe that's Theodore for a first down into Middletown territory. So the Midi Bears expecting the run, instead get the pass.
Yeah, it looked like the DB that was supposed to be covering Anthony Theodore was about 5-6 yards, just giving him a blanket.
And that's the confidence you lose when you get burnt once, which they have by Anthony Theodore this week and the Sullivan brothers out of Warwick last week. 1st and 10, and the running game will start up again. Dolshin up the middle. This time he's got a good yardage on first down, about 5 on the play. And this is exactly what Port wanted to do, and that's run the football, get that clock running. 2nd and 5. Or they'll mark them 2nd and 6 from the 37. With 10 minutes left in the ball game, and Port Jervis leading Middletown 33-14.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Port, you're relying on Carroll Dolshin to just keep those legs moving. They do have 3 other running backs on their roster, but timeout.
Timeout. Port Jervis.
So Port Jervis calls their first timeout of the second half. They'll have 2 remaining, though they really don't want to stop the clock in this day and age.
9:50 remaining in the fourth quarter.
So we'll reset it for you here. Really some missed opportunities in the third quarter for Middletown. They did put up the score on the first play of the fourth quarter, but they had 2 or 3 other opportunities in the third, came away with no points, and not being able to score during those possessions really has taken the game out of your hands a little bit. Otherwise, they'd still be in the ball game.
Yeah, if you look back at their first drive of the second half, everything was going right with the nice kick return, and then a penalty with extending it down to the 25-yard line, and then the fumble the next play. Just really that little mistake led them to only scoring 1 touchdown in the second half.
So we've been even Steven, so to speak, here in the second half. Each team has put up a score. Only difference was a Port Jervis missed extra point, while Middletown hit its extra point here in the second half. 2nd and 6 for Port Jervis from the Middletown 37. Dylan Fox is the quarterback, rolling to his right, looking downfield. He's got a receiver wide open, and boy, the receiver turned around thinking that there should be somebody there to tackle him, and there wasn't. So Austin Mack, number 8, adds some more yardage after the catch.
Does step out of bounds there.
There is a flag on the play. Looks like Port Jervis is on their own coming back.
Yeah, holding.
We have pass interference on the offense.
So that negates what would have been a nice gainer and a first down for Port Jervis, and brings them all the way back to their side of the field. Boy, that's a long penalty.
It's not a loss of down, so it's 2nd and 21, but whew.
So the ball's marked at the Port Jervis 48-yard line. Middletown looking for another opportunity if they can come away with a turnover here. Fox rolling this time to the near side, trying to get around the corner. I'm surprised there wasn't a flag there. I thought there was a hold on the back end, but a gainer into Middletown territory for Fox, going from the Port 48 to the Middletown 47. It'll be a pickup of 5 and bring up a big third down for the Middletown defense. 3rd and 16 from the Midi Bear 47-yard line for the Raiders.
Yeah. If you're the Raiders, do you go aggressive and throw the ball down the field, but that can stop the clock? Or do you just run it and just accept it as is?
It's a really good point. I'm not the coach, but if I was, every 35 seconds you can run off the clock is big. Fox rolling this time to his right, looking downfield, one-on-one coverage. What a catch! Theodore inside the 20 near the 15-yard line. It'll be a Port Jervis first down. A perfectly thrown pass by Dylan Fox. As we take a look at the replay here on Midi TV and 845 Sports Nation, Dylan Fox rolling to his right and throwing it down the right sideline. Beautiful outstretched catch by Anthony Theodore. And that gives Port Jervis a 1st and 10 at the Middletown 11, and just about does it from a time perspective here for the Raiders.
Anthony Theodore just being able to get behind those defenders multiple times this game, capitalizing with some great throws from Dylan Fox.
Fox keeps it right up the middle. Brought down by that Middletown front line. Gain of 1 of the play to the 10.
Looks like he just hopped in the air for that 1 yard.
And we'll see if head coach Damian Straharski, if faced with a 4th down call, do you try to put points on the board with a field goal, or do you go for it and risk not getting anything?
I'm not the coach, but you're up by 19 points.
You want to make it 22? I would think.
Yeah.
That's what you would do. But who knows? Dolshin in the backfield, 2nd and 9. He's got the football. Still on his feet. Boy, cuts it back inside, down near the 5-yard line. And just like Jelani Graham does for the team in blue, Carol Dolshin does it for the team in red and white. Taking the ball down to the 5-yard line, 3rd down and 3 for Port Jervis.
From what I've seen from Carol Dolshin, his way of running, it really reminds me of a certain NFL player. It reminds me of Derrick Henry.
Okay.
He has that slow run.
The old Titan.
Yeah. So that's a really good comparison, but just the way of the style of run.
Rolling to his left. Dylan looks like he wants to keep it, and he does for the touchdown. 5 yards out. Give credit to that Port Jervis offensive line sealing the near side and giving Dylan Fox the lane from 5 yards out. And just like that, Port Jervis extends its lead to 39-14 and gets beyond that magic 19-point advantage.
No more nightmare for the Port Jervis fans. They don't have to reflect on that. That's Dylan Fox's 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. Very successful on his feet.
Corcoran in for the extra point. And Raider Nation, as the extra point goes up and is good, and that puts up point number 40 for Port Jervis. Raider Nation really getting ready to cap this 2024 season. They're looking to take the Erie Bell back from Middletown and take it to Port Jervis and then move on to their divisional games with their next idea being a state championship.
Yeah, high hopes for this Port Jervis team, and definitely showing why today. 40-14, Erie Bell game, 146th game.
And for Middletown and head coach Tim Strenfeld, the aches and pains of graduation. Coming off their Section 9 Class AA championship last year, defeating Newburgh twice. Their only 2 losses last year in a 9-2 campaign were to Monroe Woodbury and a close ball game down the stretch down in Central Valley, and their state playoff game against CBA out of Albany. The only 2 blemishes on a stellar 2023 football season for Middletown. But knowing this head coach and knowing this team, they'll be right back here again, representing the blue and white next year, as Garcia runs it back near the 35-yard line, where Middletown will take over 1st and 10.
.637 remaining in the 4th. Middletown is, at this point, try some plays in the playbook. Might as well. Down by 26 points here in the 4th quarter. Port Jervis adding on to their record. More than likely end up with a 3-0 after today.
Try to see if I can find the schedule here for the rest of the year for both these 2 teams.
Middletown still trying to look for their first win.
Number 7 for the Midi Bears on the carry, Javion Roldan. Second down and about 2 yards for the Midi Bears.
6:28 remains. Port Jervis defense been able to hold this Middletown offense to 14 points today. Looking to stop them again.
JoJo Royal under center. And the play clock had gone down to 0.
Dead ball, delay a game, offense.
So with 6:02 remaining, Port Jervis leading Middletown 40-14. The Erie Bell game this year, pretty much not in doubt for most of the game. I think there was a question maybe towards the end of that first half after Middletown put up its first score of the afternoon. But that window closed quickly in about 14 seconds when Port Jervis answered the Middletown score with a touchdown of their own from 53 yards out. I think that was the jugular in this ball game.
Yeah, even if you were hopeful after that, I think that fumble on the first drive for Middletown, that would have crushed my soul.
They give back on the far side, but trying to get through it as we have some new Middletown players in on offense. Anthony Russo now in at quarterback for JoJo Royal for Middletown. And number 6 on the carry, Christian Ethier.
Third and 8 for Middletown with the clock running just under 5 minutes.
And I got to thank our young man, Killian Creedon here, our statistician this afternoon, helping us out in the booth. Killian's brother just went away to college, I think, right? Here's the pitch by Russo on the near side. Trying to cut it back upfield. I believe that's rolled down. Yep, number 7 for the Midi Bears on 4th down. And it's going to be a turnover on downs for Middletown.
Fourth down now.
Oh, it's 4th.
Yeah.
Boy, they marked that.
Yeah.
I looked up real quick before the guy's knees were down. It already said 4th down. I'm like, I must have missed one.
4th and 7. Just 4:05 remaining. Middletown just trying to use some players they haven't earlier in this game. Get them some playing time.
So Russo under center now for Middletown. Back to pass, off the play action. He's got a receiver on the near sideline, but not being able to come down with the football was Christian Ethier.
Looked like a nice pass.
And if the Midi Bears can get that from Anthony Russo moving forward, because you just don't know with JoJo Royal, he's been nicked up for most of this season. As we mentioned, he started up against Baldwinsville in week 0 in their 14-7 loss to the Bees up in central New York. But by halftime, he sat out the second half, tried to make a go of it for about one play in one series, but couldn't have it. And then last week against Warwick sat out. So he came back here for the Erie Bell game as we have a timeout on the field by Middletown.
With just 3:24 remaining. Middletown huddling up. Doing what they got to do to finish this game out. Port Jervis doing the same.
I just love these games, even though it's been a rout. The pomp and the circumstance and the rivalry. Both two great communities, very similar in nature. Football programs that over the years we see passing here and there, but over the years it's always been about the run game and defense on both sides for the most part.
Yeah, some consistency definitely on the run game for both these teams. You got great runners from both. You got Jelani Graham from Middletown. You got Carol Dolshin from Port Jervis.
We want you to stay on after this ball game. We'll put together and show you our Middletown High School Wall of Fame inductee video as Theodore gets the pitch from Fox down the far sideline, trying to add to this score before driven out of bounds by number 22 for Middletown, Isaiah Sepulveda. And the ball's going to be marked at the Middletown 16-yard line, 1st and 10 for Port Jervis. Clock running with 2:50 remaining, and they lead it 40-14.
Another one of those differences today is those playmakers, getting the ball in the playmakers' hands. I think Middletown had a little tough time doing that today. Dylan Fox
And Middletown fans, a little bit of booing as they see Port Jervis throwing the football up by 26 with 2:37 remaining.
Yeah,
that's going to be a bitter pill to swallow for some folks in Midi Nation.
Yeah, it looked like almost, I'm not going to say intentional, but just a drop from Elijah Campbell, Port Jervis there. 2:37 remaining, 2nd and 10, Port Jervis.
Handoff to Dolshin, that's a little bit more palatable. And look, right up the middle for the touchdown.
Dolshin,
are they going to mark him down? They're going to mark him down. Wow. I thought he got in there with the dive.
Yeah, that dive looked like he got in. I don't know. Refs spot him at 2.
With 2:25 remaining, it'll be 1st and goal from the 2-yard line for Port Jervis. And really, this touchdown is more of a message to the rest of the state, more than it is about this game. This is about head coach Straharski setting a message that this team is a legitimate state contender, state championship contender. Fox right up the middle. And it looks like he's across. No indication yet, and now there it is.
His 3rd rushing touchdown of the day for Dylan Fox. Port Jervis just really capping this game off, showing everybody we're here to stay. We mean business.
That makes it 46-14 for Port Jervis as the pounding on the bleachers begins to happen from the fan base on the left. That would be Raider Nation. And not so much on the blue and white side as they head to the exits. Extra point attempt by Corcoran here, late substitution for the Raiders.
Bad snap. Picked up by Middletown.
Picks it up, but he could return it, but he was on the ground with his knee on the ground when he recovered the football, so that makes it dead right there on the spot. And with 2:02 remaining, and I mentioned it earlier, that is something you need to clean up. You know, so they missed on a 2-point conversion, and they've missed on 2 PATs. So in a game like this, obviously it doesn't matter, but as you progress, and it probably won't matter in Section 9, but when you get to the state playoff game, you know, in a couple of those years that Port Jervis advanced, they lost 1-point games and 2-point games. So that's when plays like this matter.
Yeah, kickers are important. You need to make sure every single person on the team knows what they're doing and make sure you have the availability to take the PAT on that first drive. This game, it doesn't matter, like you said. But in those close games, that single point is going to make a difference.
I'll give a shout out and a congratulations to our cohorts over on Port Jervis Radio. Kevin Halpany and Tom Fagione do a stellar job every year for the Raiders. Coming down at the 20-yard line off the kickoff. On the 40, still on his feet for Middletown is Garcia. He was a shoestring tackle away from busting it. But a nice return to about the 49 for Garcia and the Midi Bears. Well, they'll take over 1st and 10 with 1:50 remaining in the ball game.
Julian Garcia, he's been pretty explosive today on that special teams. Maybe we'll see him get more involved in later weeks.
Yeah, he's looked good on kick returns. Fortunately for Julian, he's a senior this year. Well, fortunately for him, I'm sure he wants to get on with his life.
1:50 remaining. Middletown at the 49.
You want to finish these play-by-play, Mr. Kovacs? You want to give it a shot here?
It's all good. We can do it together. We can do it together. I've been sneaking in a little bit.
I was hoping. No, it's a little experience here for you.
Yeah, Anthony Russo at quarterback. Got some wideouts to one to the left. Looks like Anthony Russo's going to throw it through the hands. Number 6 from Middletown, Christian Either.
Second pass in a row
that he's dropped.
Unfortunately, that they couldn't connect on him. Both look like good passes by Russo.
Yeah, Anthony Russo is definitely, he's putting the ball in the spot where the receiver wants it.
You know, when he came in the first game against Baldwinsville in the second half, he was pumped up, but he had a strong arm, and he was overshooting his receivers, I thought, because he was nervous and coming in for the first time.
Motion in the backfield for Middletown. Handing it off. It's number 16. Number 16.
Giovanni Pierre, the junior.
Just about a minute left in this game. 46-14, Port Jervis leads Middletown. Looking to take the Erie Bell trophy back home.
And the tradition with the bell is that the home school who wins gets to color the inside of the bell their school colors. So for a few years it's been in Middletown blue and white, and I'm sure when they bring it back to Port Jervis High School, before it enters the building, it'll have red and black or red and white, depending on which direction they want to go at Port Jervis.
Yeah, it's a new fact for me. Handing it off to number 16 again. That's Pierre. Out to the outside. 30. 25 staying up. Down to the 20. 15. Out of bounds.
And give him credit. He almost looked like he wanted to bowl
Yeah.
people over.
Yeah,
he wasn't
did.
avoiding the contact.
He wasn't going out of bounds there.
No.
He wanted it.
He said, "You want some of me?"
Just a little punishment at the end of the game.
The last 11
left.
seconds. And the Midi Bears won't snap this football.
Looks like it'll just, the clock will be run out.
The last 10 seconds. The final edition, the 146th edition of the Erie Bell game, will end with Midi Nation watching the Red Raiders rush to their bell on their far side of the field. Congratulations, your final score, Port Jervis 46 and Middletown 14. And the Raiders, Isaac Caetano will be waiting on I-84 for the bell as it enters the city of Port Jervis. And a good run for the Midi Bears as they fall to 0-3. And they wait patiently on the sideline for that post-game handshake. In the meantime, we wanted to let everybody know that we did induct 6 new individuals into the Middletown Wall of Fame here at Middletown High School, along with an undefeated football team and also 1 head coach. So at this time, we'll run a little video to honor the inductees, the 1961 football team: Anthony Gobio, Steve Perrone, Debbie Cubbin, Philip Mansueto, Rocco Mansueto, Chris Egger, and Sherry Morris. So there you have it. We want to thank Ed Diller for playing our Wall of Fame induction ceremony as both teams, after the celebration and photo session at the Erie Bell between Port Jervis and Middletown. Port Jervis taking it 46-14. Your final thoughts, Anthony?
Great game today by both teams on a great Saturday. I'd just like to give a shout out and thank you to Athletic Director of Middletown, David Coates, for this great opportunity.
Absolutely. So we want to thank everybody for joining us here on 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV. For Ed Diller, George Diller, Anthony Kovacs, and the Middletown technical crew here at Fowler Field, I'm Ed Estrada. We hope to see you at our 845 Sports Nation podcast between Ed Diller, myself, and Isaac Caetano. The Erie Bell heads to Port Jervis.